Okay, hello everyone. So we are going to start the orientation of Anyone Python Season 3. So can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, so you can give me thumbs up or you can use a chat box. Okay, thank you. So this is not the regular episode of Anyone Python. Instead, for those who are not familiar with the Zoom meeting and also those who never attended the Anyone Python season 1 and 2, so I'd like to provide some information to be successful in the season 3 of Anyone Python. So you don't have to be stressful for this Anyone Python, especially today's orientation. Just sit back and listen and carefully, and I think that's it. So uh, I share the screen. So first, I'm going to start, and this is my video today. I set up the different video camera. This is the first time. So if you have any problem to see or hear my lecture, just leave your comment on the chat box. Then it will be helpful. Okay, so uh, I'm going to share the screen. There are several things I'm going to introduce today, and this is the first one that I can use. From time to time, I'm going to use the uh, slide or the PowerPoint file, but not mostly. So if I need, so I'm going to use the additional slide. So, but mostly I'm not going to share this slide because I want for you guys to um, focus on the lecture. So, if possible, please complete everything during the live the annual Python the episode. Then you don't have to study later after the regarding to the Python. So before the class, so I use the name of episode for each class. So especially the before you start the new season. So please, I think that you already create a Zoom account, so it's not a big problem. And every time when you join our Zoom meeting, so please sign in with your the Zoom account. Then it will be helpful for us to recognize who you are. Okay. So then the for the security reason, so every episode I'm going to send a new Zoom link. So if you try to access the episode one with the Zoom link, so probably nobody in that Zoom the meeting. So please check the email that I'm going to send every time after the meeting. So for example, the if after the today's class, so orientation, I'm going to send out the email for the next episode, episode one for tomorrow. So please check the email every time and use the new the Zoom link. So a lot of students try to access the classroom, the Zoom meeting with the previous the link. So then at the time you are not able to. Sometimes I cannot respond to your the email the asking the what is the Zoom link. I do not receive the email. Please check your the inbox. Specifically, sometimes my email go to the spam folder. So first, check your spam folder if you do not receive my email after each episode. Okay, then not every time, but the most of the time, I'm going to send the link for the zip file that will be used for the for each class for your practice. So please download the zip file before the class begin. Then if you try to set up the during the annual Python class, so sometimes you will be behind the progress. So please check the email and if you need it, download the zip file. So I'm going to explain the how you can set up the each class and the practice or the such a thing for from the first episode tomorrow. Okay, if possible, you don't have to join too early, even though the Zoom class allow to join the Zoom meeting the before I join it. But you don't have to come to earlier, but at least 5 minutes before class begins. So our class always start from the 8 p.m. the New York time, and it will be exactly 1 hour. Okay, if over 1 hour, I usually stop and leave the remainder as your homework or the next episode. So it's always you don't have to ask me again. So it's every time it's 8 to 9 p.m. the New York time. That will be the 5 to 6 o'clock the p.m. the Pacific time, and you can calculate what the search the Google for your local time. Okay. So during the class, so classroom will be locked at 10 minutes. That's what I want. I never did, but it's just for the information. So please join the class 5 minutes before class begin. Then this is kind of a Zoom etiquette. So please mute your audio. So because usually I expect that this time the 50 to 60 student, even though there are over the 150 registered student, not always all student attend the class. Only I think this time I expect 50 to 60 students, still a lot. So if everybody turn on the audio, it will be messed up. So please mute your audio, but most of time you don't have to use the audio. So instead, you are allowed to ask a question using chat box. So please use your chat box if you have any question or because we have only the 1 hour, only 1 hour for the anyone Python class for each episode, which is not too long. It will be quickly go away. So please use the chat box to manage for me to manage the class smoothly. And I strongly suggest for you guys to use your full name. If you already attended the Anyone Python before, or if you watch the video, you realize that I try to call your name and check your progress. And at the time, if you do not use your full name, I do not know who you are. So please try use your the full name. Even though you are able to change your name. Also, I strongly suggest to use the video. Then it will be very, very helpful for me to manage the class. So if I cannot see your the face, I do not know how much you guys are the understanding my lecture, whether you are following me, and how many of you are attending. So it's very, very helpful if you turn on video. I know that some of you guys are very shy to show your face, but you don't have to. So uh, I really like for you guys to be much more aggressive than your the usual the characteristic. Okay, when you especially when you start to learn something the new one, so you don't have to be shy. You don't have to be behind. Just the more the active and the proactive and the aggressive. So at the time, even though you don't want to share your face, but normal it's okay. But in this class, please turn on your the video. Then I'd like to recognize the your face and who you are like that. Okay. Then, if you have any questions, so that is the biggest the thing in the annual Python class. So if you have because this class is for the beginner, thoroughly beginners. Most of you guys never use any program language, so you probably have a lot of the questions. So at that time, please use your chat box. Even though you raise your hand, as you have done in your the school class, but I do not give the chance to ask the question using your audio. So uh, but you can use the chat box. Then who can answer for your question? So we have the TA. So this time there are 3 TAs. 2 of them continue from the last season. So if you already attended the season 1 or season 2, you already know the Unji and the Trinity. But this time we have one more, the TA volunteer. So I'm going to introduce them tomorrow. Hey, then when you the before you start class, so please set up your desktop of your computer with PyCharm. I'm going to introduce the PyCharm. What is a PyCharm later? And so let me try to use the, yes, this one is better. Not this one. So I'm going to use it. So PyCharm. PyCharm is the software that we are going to use for Python programming. So this is a software. So please always turn on the PyCharm and also the web browser, because from time to time I'm going to ask the search the something, the Google, or the going to the this URL and that URL. At the time, it will be really good idea to open the web browser as well as your PyCharm. Okay, because I'm not going to provide any the class material. We are not going to use any the textbook. It's not the formal class. This is just informal the class. Okay, so uh, if you have any questions, first thing you guys need to do is the search the Google. Google is better than me. Okay, so you can if you have any question, for example, I cannot find the URL for the Python, how to install the Python. Then use the web browser. Then going to the google.com and search the Google. Then to solve your problem. That will be much helpful. Work together. So you can use the two the software web browser as well as a Python. Okay, then next, the computer. So this is the one of the problem. So how many of you are using the MacBook? So if you are using the MacBook, you can use the thumbs up. So I think from time to time, I'm going to ask you to give me thumbs up. At that time, there's a reaction. So bottom of the June, so you can find the reaction. So you can use not this one. Instead, you can click the thumbs up. I think the Ivy seen already did, and who did the thumbs up, and Benjamin and Ayub, then already did. Please use the thumbs up. So this time Noel did. So this time, if you are using the Windows, please give me thumbs up this time. Let me see how many of you. Yes, the Benjamin, are you using both of them? The Hyunwoo and James and the Ain and who else? The Jonathan. So as you can see, it's roughly half and half. So half of them are using the MacBook and half of them are using Windows. Sometimes, so it's the Windows specific, the function or the menu. So, but me and the 2 other TAs are using MacBook. So that is one of the reason I asked to find another, the third TA, who is using the Windows. So if you have the problem, like the PC or computer specific problem, so please be patient and we try to find the solution. Okay. So, but once we got used to the software like the PyCharm and such a thing, there are not much different between the Chrome and the Windows and the MacBook. Couple of things you should remember. I'm going to point out that from the first episode. Okay. So, but the Chromebook, is there anyone who are using the Chromebook? If you are using the Chromebook, I do not recommend, because we are going to install the Python and PyCharm by yourself. So, but the Chrome does not allow, as far as I know, the Chrome does not allow for user to install the software. So please try to, you can use the PC, personal computer, desktop computer is totally fine. So please find either MacBook or the Windows PC, that will be fine. Okay. But mostly the annual Python lecture will be based on the MacBook, but I'm not sure whether you guys can see. So I changed my desktop, so I have the PC, the Windows PC, which is a really old one. So I'm going to connect my Windows PC using the remote desktop if needed. So, but the mostly I will use the MacBook. Okay. So as I mentioned before, so we have three teaching assistants who are going to assist me during my lecture. So even though I'm doing a lot of multitasking, it's not easy for me to do the lecture and the demonstration, the programming, and as well as answering the questions. So I cannot do everything. So I have three volunteers, TAs. They are going to answer for your question, but only through the uh, chat box. Okay, but direct message is not accept sometimes doable, but the most if you have any question, ask for everyone because you are not the only one who encounter or who had the question. So you can share the experience to others. Also, the when TA answer for your question, that can be helpful for other student also. So please use the ask the question when using the chat box to everyone. But in case the TA needed, they can answer using the direct message. Okay? And tomorrow I'm going to introduce the three TAs. Then you will see who are they. And also, I'm not suggesting for student to ask the question to TA after class, okay? Because they are volunteer, they are student like you, and this is not the paid computer programming class, or it's not the formal class. It's just for 1 hour the informal class for fun. So I don't want you guys be stressful. Also, I don't want the TA will be stressful because of your questions. So if you have any questions, please ask during the class. Okay. Then if you have any questions after the class, please try to solve the problem by yourself or any other else. Then the whole such a question. Really, you cannot find the solution, then email me. Okay. Do not directly contact the TA. They are student, the high school student and college student. So they are not professional, they are volunteers. So if you cannot find the solution and you really have a question, then email me. And also during the class, please be kind and nice to the TAs. Okay, after the class, so best way is to complete everything during the class. Okay, I'm not going to give any homework. I'm not going to give sometimes maybe the little small assignment, but in case we cannot complete everything within an hour, at the time I'm going to leave such a reminder as the assignment. Otherwise, there will not be any homework. Okay, you don't have to be stressful. But if you don't understand clearly during the class, so then you can watch the video. A lot of students watch the recorded video after the class, then the step by step follow. Because sometimes I'm in a hurry, so I typed very fast and progressed much faster than you type. So at the time, so I cannot wait. I try to slow down, but I cannot wait for all of you follow me. Okay, so at that time, if you will think that you are a little bit behind, and then after the class you can watch the video. I'm going to share the link every time, so you can go to the YouTube, then the watch, and a lot of students stop and do something, and the resume and the post, recent post like that. Okay, that is the best way for practice. And okay, that's pretty much the information. But I realized that a lot of students of the first time, I think the 70% of the registered student this time is the first time for Anyone Python. So if you are not familiar with what is the Anyone Python, so you can go to the link. So let me change the screen share to the desktop. You will see this desktop like during the most of time during the Anyone Python. So this time I'm going to, can I stop the pointer? Hmm. Anyway, so this is the Anyone Python. I already sent out the link for the website. Don't expect the update of this one. I'm very lazy to update the website. So, but if you wanna check the previous Anyone Python, like the season one, is here. Season one is for the introductory part, introduction to the computer and computer science with the Python. But we didn't cover the main part of the Python. Instead, we have used the Carol. So if you do not know what is a Carol, then which means you do better watching the video, the recorded video, or the recorded video are uploaded here, the YouTube, so you can find the more information. Then the season two is the kind of the mini the season for the Anyone Python. It's a command line. So please watch the previous the season whenever you have a time. But as I mentioned during the registration, it's not required to complete this one. But you do better. You will be better if you know about the season one and the season two. Okay, or recorded video are uploaded to the YouTube. So you don't have to write down or copy this link. If you go to the homepage, just remember bit.ly slash any Python, then you can find all the information. So season one, I already talk about introduce the season one and the season two. But this is the issues. So I'm going to use the Python program language, Python interpreter, as well as PyCharm. So many of you never used the Python. So you do not know whether I have Python. Well, what is the PyCharm? Something like that. So before we start the episode one tomorrow, I strongly suggest for you guys to watch these two videos. So one is the season one, episode one, to install the Python interpreter, Python. So if you click this, instructions. Let me. So we actually install the Python. So both the Windows and the Mac. So I think that it takes maybe 10 minutes. So please try to install the Python on the computer. So if you are using the Mac, so please slide find the time. So then where the Mac version is installed, the same thing for the Windows. Then the uh, episode what So episode 3, I think. Yeah, 3. So in the episode 3, we installed the PyCharm. So if you do not know what is a PyCharm, I strongly suggest you guys to watch entire episode 3 of the annual Python season 1. So where you can find what is a PyCharm and it's too noisy. So what is the PyCharm? What is the ID? And why do I need to install the PyCharm? And how we can use the PyCharm like that? Because we are going to use the PyCharm as the software to use the Python in season 3. So if you already use the different the ID, so I have used the idle, I have used the Jupyter, but unfortunately we are not going to use the other the software to learn about the Python. So if you do not know what are they, forget about. Just the install the PyCharm, then the season 3 will be based on the PyCharm as an IDE. If you do not know what is the IDE, just watch the video. This is the 3. Oops, this is pointer is really noisy, annoying me. There's a hmm, let me exit. Okay, I'm not going to use the pointer next time. Okay, so that's pretty much the orientation of the annual Python season 3. So questions. So let me check the chat box first. I'm going to stop sharing. So then, if you do not have video, it's okay. But I suggest, it's my suggestion, recommendation, turn on the camera, then I can recognize you guys. iPad, the I don't think the iPad support the PyCharm ID because the Python programming will be based on the PyCharm software. So iPad may not be. Yes. So first, download and install the Python first. Then download and install the PyCharm next. So how can you install the Python and PyCharm? So please, I'm going to give the link again. So let me stop here. Exit. So in the chat box, so this is the install the Python. And this is the not let me send it again. And this is for the PyCharm. So tomorrow we are going to start the episode 1 with the installation of the Python and PyCharm, but it will be very quick. So some if you are really the beginner of the program language, you may not the catch up the lecture tomorrow. So I strongly suggest to you guys. It may take the total the 1 hour if you can follow the direction instruction on this video. So you guys can copy and paste this one. Okay, all the information on the YouTube. Then it is if you go to the YouTube video, there is the description. So you can read the description for the link and the additional information. And any other questions? So I don't recommend to use the iPad. Okay. Okay. So any other questions? Only this time, if you have any question, you can use unmute by yourself and ask a question. But most of time, I'm not going to allow to use your audio during the class. But only this time, if you have any question, but if you are lazy to type, you can unmute by yourself and ask the question.
We can learn more about PyChan at the episode 3 of first lesson.
No. So we are not going to learn the PyCharm. PyCharm is just the software to help us to learn about the Python. So like when you send the email, so you can use the Outlook, you can use the other, but that's just a tool. But you are going to send the email using the Outlook, the mail, like that. So it's just a software, but we are not going to learn how to use the PyCharm. Instead, we are going to learn how to use the Python
Oh,
using PyCharm.
mm.
After the session Zoom meeting, so Brandon, you can install the Python and PyCharm. But Python first, then followed by the PyCharm. So any further information or detailed information you can find from the YouTube video. The version, so regarding to the Python, any version is fine, but at least 3.8 or higher. Okay, 3.8 or higher. The after, yes. So we are going to type Python code on PyCharm. So that is called the IDE, Integrated Development Environment. So we discussed in the season 1. So why don't you watch the season 1, episode 3? Then you will get the more information about the PyCharm. But once you install, then you don't have to worry about how to use PyCharm. So we are not going to cover a lot. For that, instead, we are going to utilize the PyCharm to learn about the Python. So it's like that. When you are using Google, for example, Google search, so you can use the Safari if we are using the Mac. You can use the Chrome. You can use the Firefox. It doesn't matter, but you are going to use the Google search. So we are not going to learn how to use for example, I'm going to share the screen again. So this is a Safari. So I'm not going to explain the click the file and the new tab like that. You already know. But instead, I'm going to explain how to use the google.com and search like this. But google.com can go the you can access using the Chrome or the using Firefox. So like that. So PyCharm is like the software to help us to code the Python. But I'm going to use that PyCharm software during the season 3. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you so much for your attending the orientation. So good luck for I think I'm thinking the 10 episode, which means the 10 weeks from tomorrow. So hopefully the pandemic will be gone after season 3, and that is my expectation. Thanks so much for your attending, and good night everyone. But don't forget, if you have a time, please install the Python and PyCharm the using that instruction. Okay, thank you. Jonathan, if you watch the video, you are able to select the specific Python interpreter. So please watch the video, then you can select.